So the AOSB, or the Army Officer Selection Board, is where we assess and select candidates to go forward for the commissioning course at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. That's both for the long course, which is the 44 weeks for regular officers, and also the short course for reserve and professionally qualified officers.
The whole assessment and selection process is broken down into two parts. The first is briefing. Briefing allows you to come and have a look at us, and for us to come and have a look at you. And at the end of it, you'll receive a report that will give feedback on your performance and provide development points for you to work on before you come back to main board.
So the activities at briefing include some physical tests, whether it be running the multi-stage fitness test or a couple of others. They'll do a group discussion, testing how, or looking at how candidates have an awareness of current affairs and how they interact in a group. They'll get taught some of the practical elements of main board, and they'll have a chance to run through some of those outdoor tasks and command tasks that they'll see when they return.
So there's no necessity to prepare for the briefing phase. It might be an idea to start working on your physical fitness. We give an idea of the kind of standards that you need to achieve when you come back from main board, so that's always a good starting point. But the whole purpose of briefing is to give you the tools and the things that you need to work on, and we'll detail in your reports where we see your strengths and weaknesses are and what you'll need to work on for coming back from main board.
So my advice between briefing and main board is to really understand and look at the detail that we give in the report. Candidates will have a really good understanding from their own self-reflections about how briefing went for them, but looking at the wording in the detail, as it is different for each candidate, is really important to understand where you need to grow and where you need to develop before you return to main board.
So I can understand if you're a little bit on the fence, not sure if this is where you want to come. I can understand that it can be quite an intimidating process, but you've got nothing to lose by coming here and everything to potentially gain. So the main board is our main event. It's the main assessment that lasts about 3.5 days, and that's where we decide who's going to go forward to the commissioning course at Sandhurst. There are lots of events that are included in that, from cognitive, physical, to team working, to planning. So lots of opportunities to show that you have the skills and the qualities that we're looking for as an Army officer.
The assessment activities are largely the same as what we've done at briefing, albeit they're a bit more detailed and a bit more thorough. So candidates can expect some more physical activity, they can expect more working in a team, both indoors and outdoors, and they can look at how we're going to test them a bit mentally as well. The difference between the day-and-a-half briefing and the 3.5-day main board is the level of which the assessors will give you feedback. Briefing primarily is about coaching, training and mentoring people towards this process, whilst main board is the key assessment. You won't get much feedback from the assessors whilst you're here, because we're looking for how you deal with the pressures of it on your own. It's evidence-based assessment, and so we're looking for really how you can tackle the assessments and show your best self.
The assessment itself at main board isn't pass or fail on one single activity. There are many activities that are interrelated. If a candidate has a shocker on one particular activity, they certainly have the opportunity to improve later on. So we do a mixture of indoor and outdoor tasks, we do conceptual and practical, as well as group and individual tasks, all allowing the candidates to display their various strengths and weaknesses across the 3.5 days. The best way to prepare for main board is to concentrate on what the development points were offered to you in your briefing report, which will include any feedback on your observed performance and what you need to do to improve to be a credible candidate at main board. You'll be given sufficient time between attending briefing and main board to improve on those aspects of your personal performance, and so that you should have everything you need to come to main board to be a credible candidate and to deliver a good performance.
So before you turn up, it's really important that you do read the joining instructions, listen to the kind of things that you're going to have to wear, make sure that you are turned out smartly. Remember, this is a job interview. When you're doing your preparation, rather than necessarily thinking about any one big event, think of those skills and those tools. So memory, listening, assimilating information, your fitness, being able to plan, and your ability to speak and articulate your ideas to a group. Above all, my biggest tip for when you come here for main board is just listen very carefully to the instructions given to you. You will always be given the opportunity to look ahead later at what you're planning, but it's very important when you are given instructions, listen very, very carefully.
Any preparation that you do must be at the basic level. Do not over-engineer your preparation for AOSB. What you need to do for the psychometrics is to look at your verbal, numeric and abstract reasoning, and if you can practice those, then that's over to you. When it comes to the Planex, People should be concentrating on their speed, distance, time, their analysis and planning ability, and that could be on anything. It doesn't have to be an AOSB style Planix. It could be, what are you going to do with your day? How are you going to sequence it? What are your routes that you're going to take? How long is it going to take you? All those basic skills are the foundations of what we need for our assessment here. So please do not spend huge amounts of time going through the Planix. You'll be taught how to do it at briefing, and then you'll get a completely separate problem at main board. There is a plethora of resource out on the internet that will give you examples of planning exercises. By all means, give them a go. But I wouldn't say that it's absolutely necessary that you must do those before you come to main board. And also, as I've said before, do not pay for it.
The biggest concerns that candidates have when they come through here is understanding about the Planix and what to expect. And I'd say, again, as with most things here, just don't worry about it until you get here. You will have 2 briefings in terms of what you need to do for the Planix when you get here. So one at briefing and one at main board. It is designed so anybody off the street can give it a go.
So in terms of preparing physically for main board, ensuring that you can run the multi-stage fitness test comfortably is going to be a good start, as it's a controllable. But physical fitness is also going to help you elsewhere and control your thinking and working as part of a team, particularly on the tasks outdoors. So a good level of physical fitness, both cardiovascular but also upper and lower body strength, is important too.
When candidates come to the Army Officer Selection Board, they need to have a good grasp of current affairs, not just because it's a standalone component of our assessment, but because Army officers need to be knowledgeable about what's going on in the world. So I would urge candidates to start reading good newspapers, reading The Economist, reading The Week, those kinds of material that isn't just news on social media, whereby they can broaden their understanding and, most important, read opinion about topical world events.
In terms of who gets selected at main board, candidates are not in competition with each other. They're in competition against a standard, and that standard is: are you going to react well to the training at Sandhurst, and are you going to be at this required level at the end of those the week's training, whether you do regular or reserve commissioning courses?
Everything that we assess candidates on is evidence-based. During the whole week, all that information is collated, we put it into our, effectively, a big scoreboard, and then we go to a final boarding conference after the final task on a Friday and talk about each individual's performance. And when we're doing this meeting, this board, we're effectively collating information from the group leaders, the deputy presidents, and everyone else that's involved as an assessor on that board. And then from there, we then decide against a set criteria, a set matrix that we do not influence, whether they are good enough or they've met that standard to become an Army officer. It is how you work together and how you demonstrate the potential that we're looking for that's going to get you to Sandhurst.
I know from personal experience, and I was told all sorts of rumours, and it really didn't help. And particularly now being here and knowing what I know for sure that a lot of those rumours, a lot of those things that people think they're trying to be helpful when they tell their friends really aren't. It's really important just to take on the advice and tools that we give you, because we know how these assessments run and what it is we're looking for. So please try and block out that noise and just concentrate on what you're told in your own reports. So there does tend to be preconceived ideas about what an Army officer should look like and their background, and I want to dispel those myths. They are totally just not true. We are looking for somebody who has the right qualities. So it doesn't matter about your background, as long as you meet educational standards and that you have the qualities we're looking for. We're looking for your potential, those people that are going to make good Army officers once they have done the 44-week course at Sandhurst. I think it's really important to just be yourself. I know that sounds really trite, but we often get people thinking that they want to portray what they think we want as an Army officer. Don't worry, that's what Sandhurst is for. Sandhurst will make you into that Army officer. Just bring yourself and your personality when you come here.
I don't think candidates should be worried about coming here and not being successful. The opportunity for development and growth here is really good, regardless of the result. You get a number of days of assessors here looking at you, and you'll come out at the end of it having a positive experience and some lessons and space to move forward from.